We're hitting the hardwood now for a precision guide to wheelchair basketball with Team Canada as they prepare for the Rio Paralympic Games.
Wheelchair basketball is a great blend of finesse with physicality. It's all the greatest elements of basketball and then adding the contact from hockey. When people come and see it for the first time, they come with a handful of stereotypes. They come thinking, oh, these poor people, they can't walk, they can't jump. And as the game goes on, you hear people start to say, wow, did you see how fast that person was? Did you see that contact? Did you see that person hit that three? And when they leave the gym, they're talking about the ability of the athletes. So what's really neat about wheelchair basketball is it reframes the way we look at people.
One of the original 8 Paralympic sports, wheelchair basketball shares many of the rules of its Olympic cousin. The biggest difference between the two is the double dribble rule.
There is no double dribble in wheelchair basketball. There is a traveling rule, though, that you're only allowed to give 2 pushes with your wheels, and after you got to put the ball on the ground before being able to give 2 more pushes.
If you took 2 pushes and you're coming at me really hard, and I know that you have to dribble it, I'll get in front of you because you're gonna use throwing the brakes on as a push, right? So if I throw the brakes on right in front of you, you either have to throw the brakes on to save yourself and take the travel, or hammer into me and go, a yard sail all over the ground.
The other really neat thing that's unique to wheelchair basketball is the classification system. And what the classification system does is it assigns a point value to each individual on the court. The more muscles you've got to shoot or dribble or pass, the higher your point value, to a maximum of 4.5. And you can't put more than cumulatively 14 points on the court. So you have to figure out a combination of players.
You have the point guard, who's usually kind of a mid-class guy like myself. Shooting guards, again, usually a mid-class, maybe a little higher mid-class, 3-5. And then your power forwards and your forwards are the big class 4s, 4-5s, can shoot from the outside, but also goes inside. And then your small forward typically is more like a lower class guy that's gonna kind of pick and work real hard out there for everybody else.
I'm one of the more disabled players on the court. I'm a 1.5. And so my job is to kind of play like a gritty defensive style. I happen to be pretty fast, so I try to guard up and cover the biggest guy on the court. If I get an inch on you, I can dominate your chair and you can't go anywhere you want to go. If I'm that much faster than you, just a little bit, and I get positioning on you, you're done.
Another difference for wheelchair players is their shooting technique, relying on upper body strength to launch the ball, making precision that much harder to achieve.
Shooting while in a chair, it's different. Like, as you know, a lot of your shot normally comes from your legs, that you're driving a lot of your power. If you're shooting, especially from a standstill on your chair, that's a huge disadvantage. And the other inherent disadvantage is triceps are being used for literally everything on the sport. So you're just like pushing your chair down and back on a bunch of offense and then a bunch of defense, and now suddenly you've got to spot up and shoot a 3. Well, that's a long ways out there after you get muscle fatigue in your arms. So it makes a difference, but people adapt to it, and once you get used to it, it's not a huge change.
All players at the elite level used customized chairs, so precision in the configuration is pivotal. The size of the wheels alone can make a huge difference in how a chair handles.
Just like gears on a bike, so the smaller wheels accelerate more quickly, the bigger wheels more slowly, but they have better top end. Installation was the other thing I played around with. I used to strap like this for a long time, but then I started experimenting with a hard back. So this back is just fabric. So like an aluminum plate for a back, and also an aluminum set up in the front. So in theory it sounded better, like more rigid. And in theory I could transfer more of my sort of body movements directly into the chair, but I kind of lost independence of my knees. All these kind of little lower body movements are important when you're making just little micro adjustments.
As the defending champions, the Rio Paralympics will see Canada battle it out with 11 other teams for a shot at the ultimate prize.
We got a really young team, and one of my expectations is to hit the podium once more, and to be able to have my teammates, especially the new players on the team, to be able to live that experience.
We realize that we're rebuilding and we're a lot more inexperienced. So yeah, we don't want to come off of a bunch of medals that we've won in the past 4 Paralympics and not have a good showing. We want to do the best we can out there. But in reality, a lot of the world has caught up for the first time ever. I think you couldn't really pick who's going to win this thing. There's 10 good teams out there or more who could beat each other on any given day. Of course, I'd want to win a gold medal, but in the end of the day, you just got to do what you can do to get the job done.